Oh, we got Christina as first. I completely forgot that I went live already. I was just chatting in the Slack chat room. Aviad, you know what? I saw you last night, Aviad. Failed to say hi to you. Sorry about that. I was deep in a real crypto Randy rant, so it's kind of doing that. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Going to wait for some people to join in here. You know, we did this yesterday, and I think I went ahead and we did some technical analysis on BitConnect before we got started. I thought that was pretty fruitful, as a matter of fact. You know, I never did get my 100 likes during that session, so that wasn't much incentive. But let's go ahead and do that again. You know, sitting at 5 million. I mean, just guys, this is such a good value. It's just look at that. It's just all the way down here. How can you go wrong with that? It's going to go back up, obviously, to $400. Obviously, it's right there. You don't like that, Monkeytron? Oh, that's hilarious. I know 140. Oh, 142 likes, Tom. I did when it went past 105. I kind of, I don't know. I don't know if the likes really help with YouTube or not. In the end, it's, I don't know. But that's what they tell you to do when you're on YouTube. Get the likes, get the shares, get the subscribers. That's what they tell you if you want your channel to show up. That's just to get it to show up, let alone if you're good or not. There's a lot of guys that aren't very good that show up really well. And those are the guys that are a little better that don't show up very well. I think I'm one of those guys. So try to do some of that YouTube SEO stuff from time to time. BitConnect again. You know, sorry guys, I like to have fun, okay? I'm sorry, I like to have fun. And it's a tragic story about the people that lost money in BitConnect, but everybody was warned, and it's just, I don't know, it's just hilarious. Start talking about Bitcoin. All right, well, Bitcoin is a blockchain first developed in 2008 by Satoshi Nakamoto, based on I don't know, freaking idea. Anyway, let's get right to it, guys. Yeah, so I think today, instead of me really talking my butt off over here, I think I'd, you know, just answer some questions. I'm not going to hang out here very long, maybe half hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, which usually means 2 hours, as everyone in the power hour understands. But yeah, I didn't want to hang out for very long. My kids are across the street right now, so I had some quiet time. I wanted to do a video, but I think I just wanted to answer some questions. So if you guys want to ask some questions, like specific questions, I think that would be pretty good. So is it just a pullback is a good question. And it appears so far. So far, it does appear it's just a pullback. Now, I was looking at the daily chart. In the Slack chat room. I was pretty active while I was driving, actually. And this candle was red for a while. This previous candle that closed about 2.5 hours ago. This was red for a while and reminded me a lot about the 2014 inverted head and shoulders pattern, which reversed immediately thereafter. So I'm kind of glad it ended up kind of where it is. So let's go back there. I'm not going to harp on it, but I just want to show it for those people that haven't seen it or don't necessarily watch all my videos and just found some weird guy streaming live on YouTube for some reason. Where is that? 26. Okay, we're still going. Just slow to load. So here you go. So here's that candle. You had a big up thrust. Basically a high level, almost a doji candle on much higher volume. And we had something similar. We did have higher volume on this candle. So there is a possibility that this does reverse. But if you go to the shorter term time frames, it does look like a nice consolidation. That being said, there's a pretty well defined rounded top up here. And you guys know how I feel about rounded tops. But if you look at Bulkowski, rounded tops can actually be bullish. So in a Bulkowski rounded top, basically this would be a breakout point, and it would actually round over, continue rounding over, and then it would bounce from the prior low. That's a encyclopedia of chart patterns pattern. So it is mixed. It is a mixed bag here. If you look at this 2 hour chart, and if you guys know, I pretty much live on the 2 hour chart. Let's get rid of this stuff. We don't need to see that. But so good up thrust, selling up here, obviously, and then some buying down here. So it's still fairly neutral. Nothing's really broken. This low is still intact. So right now it's a pullback. Could it turn into a reversal of trend? Absolutely. So there's some guys in the Slack chat room that sold higher up here, and above 7,400. That's awesome. And like I told them in the chat room, is that there's no like wrong way to play this, especially if you watch the charts and kind of are able to watch throughout the day. You're able to get back in if it does reverse on you and go higher again. But if you believe this is a topping area, then I'm not mad at anyone that sells up here that bought at lower levels, because this is a bit of a change in behavior than from what Bitcoin's had. We are pretty close up here, and I was saying a couple of days ago that it's hard to buy up here. These were the easy buys. We talked about 6,400. We talked about 6,850. Those were the easy buys. Up here is hard because you have a pretty big resistance line right here. You got a pretty big horizontal resistance line here. So far, yes, it looks like just a pullback. I still have my long position. I'm going to swing this as long as I can, and that is that. So something else that I don't know if too many people are talking about, but something I noticed that I'm a little disturbed by is Bitcoin Cash actually sold off on very high volume and rallied all the way back down to the point that it broke out. Now, it did kind of run before Bitcoin did, but let me double check. I actually haven't double checked this. So this was 9 o'clock, 7:17. 9 o'clock, 7:17. So this was the actual breakout point. It actually already fully retraced, did Bitcoin Cash. It had a nice pop up here, and it already fully retraced that. So I thought that was fairly interesting. So this is either a good accumulation point or a signal that Bitcoin is not doing so good. And when I was driving earlier, I was in the car and I didn't have access to charts, and so I was just I was going off of an app that Ian and I developed with a TradingView. He put TradingView in it, and I was looking at that one chart, and I wasn't looking at a bunch of other stuff. But if I was looking at the altcoins, I don't really like what I see, to be quite honest with you. Going back to cryptos here, so I know I'm kind of ranting as I tend to do, but like Tron had a big upthrust here, and then just failed really badly and continued to fail. Hopefully it's bottomed here, respecting this low, but that is not a good sign. You see a lot of these altcoins really failing. Now, all of these lists are against the US dollar, but you can see Ethereum popping all the way back down, very similar to what we saw with Bitcoin Cash. XRP doing the same thing. Bitcoin Cash is one we looked at a minute ago. EOS came down not quite as far. I haven't looked at Litecoin yet at all. A little bit of relative strength compared to Ethereum and the other one. So anyway, let's get back to some questions before I just continue talking. Hasi, hello. BitConnect is evolution. Yeah, right. Look at BNB. We can look at BNB. Let's go take a look at BNB. What are they doing? What's BNB doing? I got BNB BTC, which is cratered. This has been in a void for us for a while. I don't know. I think maybe one or two people may have tried to play it on this pop, but they would have been stopped out if they've been paying attention to our kind of what we're teaching there. And US dollar looking very similar, actually pulling back deeper. So this is a little disturbing, the fact that a lot of these altcoins are pulling back in relatively high volume. Keep that in mind. The volume's been relatively higher. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of BNB down here, EOS or Bitcoin, and I would be avoiding that one. Just be putting money in Tether if you have to do that. How much weight on the 30-week and 50-week death cross? I don't put any weight on that. None. Because here's the thing. No one follows the 30-week. No one follows the 50-week. Everyone follows the 50-day and the 200-day moving average. So that is a death cross that is worth paying attention to. Nothing else really matters. You can arbitrarily pick any period moving average and find a death cross on it in a bear market. Quant stamp is not on rise. Why? I don't know what that. I'm not quite sure if you mean it's not rising. Well, not a lot of stuff's rising right now. I think quant stamp's QSP. Yeah, QSP. I don't know. So it's consolidating right now is quant stamp. Don't know why it's not going up. Not a lot of coins are at this particular moment in time. Looks like a lot of things are or living towards lows. Like I said, a good accumulation point or a sign of things to come, and only time can play that out. But Bitcoin's really going to give you the signal there. On the weekly chart, BNB is on the 20 EMA. It's never broken the 20 EMA. Also, the RSI is very low but curling up. That's fine. I don't care about those two particular indicators. I really look at price action. I don't want to buy arbitrarily off something, even if it's never happened before, because in a bear market, things that have never happened before happen routinely. So I really wouldn't be getting super involved down at this level. And if it bounces off there, that's fine, but it's not a trade setup I would be comfortable putting money at risk in. How much do I risk in every trade, and how many do you take at the same time, and how do you track all of them? Would love your professional answer. So it kind of depends. During the, pre this last bounce that we had, I traded about, how much would it be? Anywhere between 5 and 10% of my account in BitMEX, basically shorting Bitcoin every once in a while, doing stuff like that. And I was sitting in cash. Now, recently on this bounce in Bitcoin, I put my entire account to work for this bounce. It was a very well telegraphed bounce, and my entire account right now, I have Bitcoin in BitMEX, Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash in GDAX, and in my Binance, I'm still half in Tether, and I'm still half in Bitcoin on that one. So I'm pretty heavy Bitcoin right now. I do have quite a bit of Bitcoin Cash, unfortunately, because it fully retraced, so that sucks. And my Binance account is also about 10% of my overall portfolio. Generally, though, I don't like to have more than 4 or 5 positions. I do like to hawk the charts, and I will lean in on the best charts pretty heavily. I'm a very focused investor. I do not like to have more than 5 positions if I can avoid it. That's my general rule. I do break it from time to time, and usually good things never happen when I break that rule. What's up, Avenge Voltaire? It is just a short squeeze. Definitely could be. Definitely could be. And the rounding over scares Monkeytron. Yeah, I was looking at that, when I got home after this, because we were talking about Bitcoin here when we were chatting at 72.50, and I'm like, yeah, this could be your pullback if you want to buy it, and it still could be. If we go back over here to, we've kind of been, okay, there we go. So we've been kind of likening the run to the run here, right? A little bit likening it to the run here. There's a bit of a rounded top right here. Nothing super aggressive, but a bit of a rounded topping action right there. Okay, and keep in mind, if people want to FUD people out of the markets, it's pretty cheap to make the altcoin sell off. It's pretty cheap to do some FUDish behavior, but usually their true colors will shine through. One of the differences here, though, is that it was a bigger spike up. It was like only one up thrust on the 2-hour chart, and then it rallied. So you already had this kind of trend line in place. This is a little bit of a difference. We don't have that right now. So on a smaller term time here, it does look more like a general topping action. But I'm staying patient with it. I'm just gonna go with it, and until it breaks my stop. This is my hard stop right now is down towards 7,000. If and when it gets towards this level of about the 71, 79 level, whatever line I drew here, I'm gonna reassess and just kind of see what things are doing. So I'm really trying to be patient with this. In the past, Bitcoin has taken about 2 days in between all these different pops and drops for the most part. A few of them were a little shorter. This one was much shorter. It was like 18 hours or something, 16 hours. This one was a little bit longer, about 3 days, 2 days and 2 hours. This one was 3 days. This is the one that was 3 days. So you have an average about, between 2 to 3 days for things to work out. And we're here at about a day and a half almost. So 2 days will be tomorrow in the morning. So that to me, that's going to kind of be the time frame where the next leg may start to present itself. And I'm also waiting for volume to dry out, which is starting to do here. You can see the previous candle was pretty low comparatively. The average volume is way up here. It's about 55%, 50% of average volume. and this next candle on the 2 hour has 1 hour and 17 minutes in it, so we'll probably be lower than this candle. We're getting to lower volume in this area, which is when you can really start to know what's going to happen. You know, pretty much every big pop and drop came out of a low volume situation, so I'm waiting for that as well. Just kind of waiting, and as long as it's healthy up here, I really don't care what it does, to be honest with you. I mean, I can come up here and I can TA all this with the best of you guys, but, you know, I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to take the bigger picture, and if it's above my levels that I'm comfortable with, I'm just going to let it go. When would I choose to close my long position? I kind of went over that a little bit, AJ. I think when it gets down towards a point of support, which, like I said, right now I've got it about, you know, 71.80, 71.50, something like that. If you go to the 15-minute, I think that point will present itself. I was really looking at this point right here. That's 71.34. Also, I thought this level would be fairly important, this low. And it was. It undercut for a little while, and then it bounced right back. So if we can maintain this trend line, that would be extremely healthy, and I'm not mad at all, no matter what it does above this trend line. So that would be pretty healthy. And if this base goes for a long time up here, that means that there's not a whole lot of selling action in the market. And so that, to me, would be happy as well. Also, it's above my 200-period moving average right here, which it's been above it for a while. So that's healthy too. Do I have a Discord? I do not have a Discord. I have a Slack chat room, which you're actually able to sign up for in the homepage of my website, real-crypto.com. The Slack chat room, there's no charge for that. There's my power hour. I'll show you guys. For some reason, people skip it. It's right on the front page above the fold. Sign up for our newsletter and free chat room. Maybe I should invert those. Everyone says newsletter and probably gets freaked out. Just for your information, I've never sent out a newsletter. Never once. So I may do that one of these days, but guys, I'm not a good internet marketer, okay? I'm a chartist. I look at charts and I try to trade accordingly. I am not a very good internet marketer. So I do capture email addresses for newsletters that I never send out. I will one day, maybe if I finish courses, just kind of as a blurb to let people know, but I should probably get better at internet marketing. Anyway, that's how you sign up for the Slack chat room. All right, so there's Bitcoin right there, 71.95 break point. Yeah, somewhere around there. So it's not a really, you can never know for sure when it's going to break down. It's just when it gets to certain levels, it's more likely to have support. And if that support is not there, then you can start to get worried. And if you want to lock in profits, those are sometimes areas to lock in profits, because if those support levels break down, it means that, number one, it's going to literally break down, or number two, a bigger base is in store. And I don't want to hold through a massive base up here. I would rather get out with a decent profit, let the base show itself. And even if I have to pay up for it a little bit, if the setup, if it goes into like a cup with handle over here, and I don't feel like buying in the bottom of the cup, if there's no good setups, then I'll buy even a little higher, just to have the expectation that the next leg will be to the upside. Got 7% from the Tron move. Great job. 71.70 still be a good stop point. Yeah, I think 71.70 is still pretty good. I think it's still pretty good. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, you really can never know exactly what level it's going to come down to. You just kind of have to go off of. I mean, a lot of times it does come down to feel, guys. It does come down to feel sometimes, and it's hard to kind of grab that. One thing you can do, which I recommend doing, is your own homework. Imagine that, doing homework on your own. I know a lot of you guys do that. I'm just kind of playing. But, do homework. Go back and look at prior bullish setups, like how deep did they come back? Did they respect the ultimate low, which is where I like to go, under the ultimate low? And, you can, it's like, here's the setup. It never really went under the ultimate low very much. Like, there was that first low, and then it never really undercut it. So you can try to find those bounces right there and do some homework there to try to get the feel for what generally happens. History is a great teacher, guys, and you should learn from it. Do I have to purchase an invite? No, the Slack chat room is free. You're welcome. That's all I got to say is you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome. A lot of guys charge for their chat rooms and stuff. I can't say a lot of guys. I know a lot of free chat rooms, but anyway. When would I cut my trade 71.95 or lower? I think I've addressed that already. What's my opinion on Tether? I don't mind Tether. It's proven itself to be resilient so far. So there's really been no issues with it. It's been here for a long time. Money's been safe, irregardless of the fact that if it's some weird scheme between Bitfinex to pump up Bitcoin, you know what? If Bitcoin's rallying, and who cares? Really, who cares what Tether's doing? I don't think it's a situation that's going to fail like BitConnect. BitConnect was a Ponzi scheme, and the bottom fell out for whatever reason. If you go by the news, it was due to the fact that Texas wouldn't let them do something. I forget exactly what it was. But Tether's not like that. I don't even know how Tether works, to be quite frank with you, but it seems to work pretty well. I haven't heard anyone losing money from Tether. I think it's pretty safe. For Bitcoin Cash, would you consider an exploratory position and have a tight stop based on where it's sitting now? I thought about that as it's kind of been down in these lows. I was thinking about that, to be honest with you, because it came back down to this prior basing point. And so if this is kind of a FUD, if this is a FUD thing for the whales to do this, to try to, buy more Bitcoin as kind of the market sells off, that could be a trick they could try to play, is to kind of make the rest of these go lower while they're holding Bitcoin higher and accumulating as people are trying to sell out of fear. Yeah, this could be good for an exploratory position coming out of a recent low, but looking at the chart, there's no major semblance of bottoming at this level. So let's look I haven't looked at the 15 minutes. So that's a good bottoming candle. That's a really good bottoming candle. That's also a good bottoming candle. So there is some bottoming action here. So yeah, if you do want to do that, I guess I won't be too mad at you. You got about a 1.8 to 2% stop. If you want to give it down to this level, I think a better level probably would be down here towards 780 though, just so you don't get shaken out. That's at about 445 or 4.5%. If you want to give it a little more than that too, but that's a little aggressive from a stop perspective. I mean, it could shoulder out here, and we could have an inverted head and shoulders in many of the top altcoins, which would be a little frightening. So here's the round over in Ethereum. I wasn't really watching this because I was outside of the house all day today, but pretty interesting there. The chart guy is in the house. Hey, thanks for joining my little channel here. Nice to have you. Randy, I missed the Bitcoin pop move as usual. Pop during my dinner. That sucks. Would you recommend to put in a limit order for this type of scenario so you don't miss on such trades and opportunities? Yeah, absolutely. I do believe in limit orders on the buy side, especially in such a well-telegraphed scenario. Like we've been talking about the inverted head and shoulders for a long time. Well, relatively long time. Okay, let me get back to Bitcoin. We had an initial buy here at 6,400 that would confirm the shoulder, and then the 6,850 buy that confirmed the inverted head and shoulders pattern as a whole. Both of those were very, very good entry points, and 6,400 was the best one, obviously. You could have tried to telegraph it down here, but there was no confirmation, and you're only paying up a few $100, actually about $160 from buying at a lower level. So I'll pay up for that kind of insurance any given day of the week. And so from here on out, it really looked like the Bitcoin of old. And I put the real crypto, real update. Actually, literally minutes before it popped. Not that I knew it was coming. I didn't know it was coming, but just happened to coincide with that. Because Bitcoin in these situations usually don't pull back. Bitcoin doesn't pull back when it's rallying like this with increased volume, which is the first time we've had that increased volume back to back to back to back in quite some time. So it was behaving well, and so we put out the thing. But yeah, we had quite a few people. Ted, our Pete, all got in at about 68.07, 68.10, something like that. Just really, really good. Or I'm sorry, 64.07, 64.10. I actually failed to put my limit order in because sometimes I don't make great trading decisions. And so I got in at about 66 when I woke up. Pretty much right when I woke up and saw what happened, I'm like, you idiot. And then I just got in and been writing it up ever since. So, but yeah, limit orders are good. It's a tool at your disposal. Absolutely. When something's blatantly obvious to you. Okay, now, Everyone has different blatantly obvious trades, but I tried to telegraph it as much as I possibly could. Maybe I could have stated, hey, go ahead and place limit orders in here, but I didn't. You know what? We can't say everything correct 100% of the time. I'm sure the chart guys will attest to that. You end a video and you're like walking around later going, damn it, I should have said that in the video. That was a good one. And unfortunately, YouTube won't let you edit things, so you're just kind of stuck with what it is. TA is 30%. Physiology is the rest. I would say psychology is the rest. Physiology would be a little weird, although maybe you could say a little bit of physiology. Maybe a little bit of physiology. And it is an art as much as it is a science. There is a scientific aspect to technical analysis, but the art part of it kind of really comes from... see, how I view it is that when you've been involved in the markets for long enough and had your, have had your butt kicked enough. When you've had your butt handed to you enough times, then you start to really pay attention. Things start to sink in, right? They start to sink in, and then your mind literally assimilates to the input that you've been giving it, right? So, and that's what comes with the 10,000 hour rule. It's not that if you study, you're going to get good. Your brain literally takes time to assimilate all of this information you're taking in. And it's not just about the chart patterns. It's not just about all this other stuff. You start to assimilate all the little idiosyncratic things, like what I try to talk about. Like, we were talking about how this is a difference in change in behavior. It's just a big curling upward movement in Bitcoin from here. That's not something you can necessarily teach in a training video. You could, but there's about 500 of these types of scenarios where you're like, okay, this is different from the Barding action. We had Barding action. This is a change in behavior. And I do talk quite a bit about changes in behavior, but until you see it a number of times and it gets, sunk into your brain, you have no idea what that means. So that's where the art part of it comes in. It's just time. So Tom Bradley with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Tom. Always appreciate it. Ooh, and a tropical drink to boot. And a topical drink. Just here to enjoy some TA streams. Cool? Yeah, thanks for saying hello. Thanks for saying hello. Can you look at ADA? Yeah, we can take a peek at ADA. ADA Bitcoin. Yeah, ADA pulled back a little healthier than some of the other coins. Volume was not as aggressive. We had more volume on the up thrust than on the down thrust here. So it looks like the biggest volume candle was this one. And then dropping down to a support level. Poking beneath it. Again, this is going to be either a good time to buy or it's going to be a situation where it's a sign of things to come, right? So we've got a little curling action here going on in Cardano. I actually don't mind this Cardano pullback, to be quite honest with you. I'm technically not a bottom buying type of a trader, but I'm getting much better at it, and this is looking pretty good. I wouldn't be necessarily buying it exactly here, but it's not as bad as, say, like Tron. Like you look at Tron and you're like, oh God, what the hell just happened? I mean, it came all the way up, threw all the way back down, and this is like a WWE body slam right here. You're lifting them up, slamming them down, and hopefully it's done going down. For now, we have a nice high volume candle. Hopefully it's done. There's probably a lot of people caught in this, to be quite frank with you. But yeah, you just looking at it, it's not looking great. I mean, I don't like when entire bases are taken out in one fell swoop. And when Bitcoin did that at the lows here in the shoulder, we were kind of, it was stair stepping down. We had this little, why am I on the 4-hour chart? Don't know why I'm on the 4-hour chart. But we had this little base right here. It was just a little pause. And then it broke down, and then it blew all the way back through the base. That is something to take note of. That's a definite change in behavior. Here you have a base that, you have a series of lower lows and it breaks down. That's fairly normal. Here you have a series of higher lows that breaks down, but then completely throws back on you 100% plus 200% if you consider this the zero mark, right? 100%, 200%. And that's a change in behavior. That's really what kind of threw the market up. And that's why I'm like, we're in a no trade zone, guys, because we don't quite know what's going to happen. And we had one throw around, 2 and 3 throw arounds. Then it started to curl up. And then we're like, okay, this could be good about 6,400. And then, the rest is history from there. But yeah, Tron is just kind of Tron did the same thing, but in the reverse. It tried to break out. Okay, now my browser's... There you go. Browser's frozen. Tried to break out. Broke up, threw all the way back down. So kind of back into a no trade zone, but hopefully it's done going down. Ooh. I'm going to mispronounce your name here. Jadix? BNB $1 and lower. If wrong, I'll eat my cooking in public. That is, you know what? I'm going to hold you to that, okay? I'm just going to hold you to that. You shouldn't be making bets like that out in public. Seriously, that's dangerous. Do I think it'll go over 7,800? At some point in the future, yes. At some point in the future, yes. Now, keep in mind, the inverted head and shoulders here has a target of just over 7,800. I believe it's 7,900, if I'm not mistaken. Depending on where you want to draw your neckline, how you want to draw the head and, your neckline determines where your chart pattern goes here. And so that puts us at 7,830 if you view it like that. So that gets us right up towards 7,800. The no pullback buy-in was spot on. Yeah, it looked like the Bitcoin of old, even if it was only for a few days. This, I don't know exactly how this is going to hold up, but it's kind of, you just got to go with it. Venn, worst chart ever. It's candidate for worst chart ever. I was quite frankly astonished at the overall weakness in Venn. Really, to be honest with you, it had this little bottom here. I'm like, okay, it'll probably pop out of this with the rest of the market. Nope. Big high volume sell candle. And then it popped up here and kind of flagged out. I'm thinking, okay, maybe it'll do something here. The volume here is pretty good on the up thrust. Nope. Had nothing to do with that. It's just continuing lower. So Venn really needs to prove itself right here before you give it your money. Should I sell now or hold on? Those are always difficult questions. Each trader has a different style, trades differently. That's a very difficult question, to be quite frank with you. It depends on should I sell now or hold on? So okay, so you have a position. It depends how much profit you have in your position. It depends what your risk tolerance is, how much you hawk the charts. I think what you should expect from here on out is to be uncomfortable. If you're asking that question, number one, get in the Slack chat room, okay? Because there's lots of guys in there. They've been having, the discussions in the Slack chat room today, guys, were some seriously quality discussions, very good quality discussions. I think some of the time frames were being mixed up between some individuals, the way I was reading the comments, but very, very good, very, very good discussion. So if you have questions about that, feel free to join the Slack chat room. That's what it's there for. And that's all I got to say there. But without knowing more information about your trade and your style and things like that, generally here I would say hold on until it fails. That's my general style right now, is hold on until it fails, and I'll lose a little bit of profit if it actually fails. But if we get another leg up, even if it's towards this trend line here at 7,800, maybe if it pokes back through to 8,000, we'll see what happens there. But to be honest with you, it is possible that it has topped completely. We came back to this prior breakdown point in Bitcoin of the large bear flag here. We came right up to that breakdown point, which we noted a few days ago could be a point of resistance, and it's proven to be resistant so far. So there you go. Too many people are too cheap to spend one click on the like button. Yeah, what do we got, like 20 likes in here? Weird Wicked World. Thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, I'm just kind of doing this. I wanted to get something out there. I didn't feel like doing a video, to be honest with you. I thought a chat with you guys would be a little more productive. Johnny B, what's up, Johnny B? How you doing? Does going long move the price less if you buy and hold with leverage? When you buy, it pushes the price up. If you open a long position, does that affect the price at all? Absolutely. It absolutely affects the price. Sometimes it's a 0% effect, But it really depends how thick the order book is, really, when you look at it. So like right now, if Bitcoin has a so here's a 0.04 Bitcoin that's here on the ask. So if you take that out, you've affected the price by, even if it's a penny. Even if it's a penny. So with every order, you affect the price by removing basically liquidity from the market. Extreme stream. That's right, Jamie. Extreme stream. Real crypto extreme stream. Extreme stream. Those were fun. Those were good days, man. I like the extreme stream days. Every day at my lunch break, I would do an extreme stream. Every day at my lunch break, my coworkers were like, "What the hell's Randy doing in the conference room every single day?" And then they kind of learned, "Oh, Randy does cryptocurrency trading and investing." And it's funny the way that our office was set up. You could see my monitor as you walked in the office, and I had two monitors. One was work, one was always a chart of some kind. Always a chart. Stock, crypto, didn't matter. Sometimes there was 2 and 3 charts up there. I hate the depth charts. It's all lies. It fusses me out all the time. Yeah, I don't like them either, to be honest with you. They're helpful occasionally to kind of gauge when something may stop. I've noticed BitMEX actually has the most honest order book. The GDAX order book is just all over the place. But I have noticed that the BitMEX order book, if there's like a big $1 million order on the bid or the ask, it'll stay there. It'll pop in and out, but it'll generally hang out there for a while. Analyze Digibyte. I actually can. I can do that. So Digibyte, this is one we've been tracking in the Power Hour. Had a huge, nice move here, and it's been bull flagging. It's really been bull flagging. I think our buy in Digibyte right now, we were hoping for lower volume. Looks like we're getting that lower volume. It's slowly flattening out. But I think our buy here was at about the 590 something level right there. So it's bull flagging out. It's just let it work. Let it do its thing. Not much to do in Digibyte. Sometimes, guys, the right thing to do is wait and do nothing. Golden Eagle, are these pops healthy in the long term, or is it better for slow growth? Doesn't matter. Literally doesn't matter at all. The market action is market. What's healthy for the market is participation. That's what's healthy for the market. The more people participating, the more the price is liquid, and then you can get sentiment indication and all kinds of stuff. But overall market participation is healthy. Whether it's one pop, a big pop, bunch of little pops, doesn't really matter.
I really would like to do.
But I will say this based on that fact. In a bull market, I do like to see those slow and steady uptrends. I do generally like to see the slow and steady uptrends. So, I guess in the end, so you're going to have both. You know what? Now that I'm thinking about that a little bit, it really doesn't matter. But in the end, slow and steady uptrends is better. I'll say that. It's more sustainable, because what happens up here is you got people taking profits. When you're slowly going up, everyone's bored to death. And then people just slowly get fudded into the market, and then eventually it's going to top, whether it's in a big pop or a drop. It's going to do something. But you know what? I actually will have to recant my answer after thinking about that for a minute. I will have to say the slow and steady, like this action right here, is more healthy. So, there you go. There's your answer. How's XLM looking today? It was looking really good. And since the Power Hour, it's still looking pretty good. Pretty heavy volume. You got kind of a decline right here. So it's doing pretty good. This one needs to work too. Volume is drying out, which is healthy. So let it do its work, and if it crosses this trend line, you can probably take it as a buy. But so far, some pretty healthy action. What's happening with Omisego? I actually have no idea. Let's go take a look at Omisego. My kids got home, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to go here in a little bit, just so you know. I'm going to answer these last couple questions that Johnny B put in here. And then I'm going to get out of here. So Omisigo versus Bitcoin obviously not performing very well. Most of the alts aren't right now. And then you've got Omisigo against the dollar coming back down to 776. We've been noticing the 750 level for Omisigo historically has been a very good accumulation point. So, hey babe, can you close the door for a sec? Thanks. But yeah, the 750 level in Omisigo, historically going back a while now, has been a good level to accumulate. You can see right about there is the 750 level. So all the way through here, this low, this low. Unfortunately, we have a low here. Looks like a possible double bottom, actually, now that I'm kind of looking at it again. You can't always see everything in the chart every time you look at the chart. Yeah, it looks kind of like a double bottom, a reversal pattern. This would be your technical buy point at 880, essentially. But big topping candle right there. It's doing okay. It's doing okay. But generally, I'm not enjoying the action living underneath that line that I drew right there, to be quite frank with you. Johnny B says, mini traders will sell at 77 to 7,800. Yeah, so I think a lot of people are going to be looking for that level. We got a couple. We got Vlad. I've already done Tron a few times. Don't mind doing it again, though. Of course I did Tron today. It was the weird coin of the market today. The thing I got to say about Tron is its action is not healthy. This is generally not healthy action, breaking out on massive volume and then completely being thrown through the prior base and almost undercutting recent lows. Hopefully it's done going down. I say hopefully because I can't have an expectation of something otherwise. You need some more time to play this out, but I don't do bottom buying. If you did, maybe this is a great bottom buying opportunity though. Zcash, please. Okay, it is ZEC. I've got ZEC on here. I thought it was the other one. I was getting confused. There we go. Zcash doing okay. Pulling back on lower volume is healthy. You see the volume here is declining, so that's pretty good. Looks like maybe a possibility for a bottom buying entry. Again, I don't really do that, strictly because you never know where the bottom is, and you never do know where the bottom is. So I would probably wait for a break of the trend line or some kind of a bottoming signal somewhere. There's really no volume signal here. There's really no price signal here. There's a little flat point at 27.5 it looks like that's been respected 4 times so far. So that would be your stop point. I think right now would be there, but I wouldn't be getting aggressive in Zcash at all, to be quite frank with you. So that's the Coinbase pop. It's been doing okay. Basically, actually, this kind of looks like a cup and handle if you take this wick into account. Kind of looks like your cup. There's your handle, but it's pretty low. It's pretty low for a well-defined cup, but this is crypto. Things aren't quite textbook, so it may end up not working out there. But again, it's crypto and it may work out, so who the hell knows. But yeah, I wouldn't be a super fan down here. I would wait for some bullish action before I got back in. Absolutely, Rumble. Handle too low is exactly what I was thinking. Handle too low. But it is crypto, and you can take your chart patterns with about 40% of the technical accuracy that you would use in the stock market, because there's no institutions here supporting these things. The main point about stock charts in the stock market is there's institutions playing that are involved constantly in the market, and so if you want a very valid cup with handle, you do have to meet the criteria. Unfortunately, in crypto, it's just a bunch of stupid people trading, me included. Me included. Just a bunch of stupid people trading, and they don't know the rules, and there's no support. So they have these kind of weird things, so you have to be a little more lax with the rules. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Mouth is getting a little dry. Kids are home. It's coming up to bedtime, so I got to put them down. Sorry if I missed your question. Apologize about that, but, tis what it is. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for joining me today. Appreciate you indulging me. Just kind of wanted to talk the markets out. I did get a request to go over Bitcoin one more time. I believe that was Monkeytron, so I'll do that real quick. Bitcoin here, so far looking pretty good. Declining volume. I'm waiting for this volume to decline to get into a low volume area before we can see the next general move in Bitcoin. That's really what I'm looking for right now, while trying to respect this level right here at about the 7260 level. Should be fairly important, but the ultimate stop right now, I think, is basically the 7133 level. If you go down to the 15-minute, there's a 15-minute candle right here that we paused at. I think that probably a little bit below that should be the ultimate stop for this move. If it goes past then, we're probably going to have a bigger and a deeper base, or it may even drop all the way down. So you never know. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. I appreciate it on this extreme stream. See you next time.